What is happening, everyone? Jim here from RC After Dark. Many of you may have noticed in one of my last snow videos that I had custom cut a new tread pattern into my Traxxas 1.9 Canyon Trail tires. And I figured I would give you guys a little how-to video on how to go about that in case any of you wanted to do the same thing. So let's get right on down to it, guys. Why you would want to do that? Well, let's talk about the tires for a second. Here's our stock Traxxas 1.9 Canyon Trail. Tire glued to the wheel, foam inside the tire, nothing you can do about it. If anybody knows how to unglue a tire from the wheel without damaging the tire itself, please leave a comment and let me know how to do that, because I definitely would like to know. Alright guys, so we're looking at our stock Canyon Trail 1.9 tire. We'll notice that the lugs are pretty close together and they have a tendency of loading up. When you're outside in the summertime playing in wet sand or any kind of mud or anything like that, the tires load up, offering no traction. Same in the wintertime, playing out in the snow, they have a tendency of loading up a snow, almost like a snowball rolling downhill. They just keep getting fatter and fatter and fatter. So here's what I did in order to try to gain some more traction and some more flotation out in the snow. I basically removed a row of lugs, every other row, all the way around the tire. And I'll show you exactly how I went about doing that. Spin the tire around here. Alright, so looking at our tire, everyone, you'll notice that we have a smaller lug and then a larger lug. A smaller lug and then a larger lug. And that repeats itself all the way around a tire on both sides of the tire. Smaller lug, larger lug. Larger lug goes all the way out to the outside of the tire, giving you more side bite. Inner lug does not, or the smaller lug does not. So I basically left all the larger lugs in place and removed all of the smaller lugs. So I took out the small lug, the lug directly in front of it. That's almost like the lug is pointing at it, so you know which one to take out, this one and this one. Same on this side, smaller lug and the one right in front of it. Leaving the larger lug and the one in front of it in place on the other side as well. So just the ones with the white dots are basically the lugs that we removed. Smaller lug, one in front of it, smaller lug, one in front of it, so on and so forth, all the way down on both sides of the tire. And if you decide to do this to your tires, little disclaimer for everyone. Number one, scissors, very sharp. Very easy to cut yourself. If you happen to cut yourself with a pair of scissors, not my responsibility. You're the one operating the scissors, not me. If you happen to cut into your tires and go put a hole right through the carcass of the tire, right on down to the foam, not my responsibility. You're the one operating the scissors, not me. If your tires don't perform as well as they did before you cut them, once again, not my responsibility. Your vehicle, your scissors, your decision to cut the tires, it's all on you. Just like it was all on me when I took a pair of scissors to my tires. If they didn't perform as good after I cut them, nothing I can do about it. It was my responsibility. So same with anybody else out there. So here we go, guys. Here's how you get started. Number one, kids. If you're thinking about doing this, have your parents watch the video and have your parents do this. Scissors are very sharp, very easy to cut yourself. So any kids out there thinking about trimming your tires, have your parents watch the video and let them do it for you. So here's how I basically went about doing this. Pair of Traxxas body scissors. It was my weapon of choice. Laid the scissors flat on the tire, even with that lug, and then basically just snipped it right off. Now you have to be very careful about doing this. That carcass on the tire is extremely thin, so it's very easy to cut through the carcass of the tire and right on down into the foam. Once again, very simple to do that, so you got to be careful. And when you're starting to make your cut, the scissors naturally, as you're making the cut, will start lifting that lug up. It'll start pulling this lug right up off the top of the tire. So in doing so, it will actually expose that carcass. So you have to be very careful, once again, not to cut a hole through that carcass. You're actually better off to stay just a little bit off the bottom of the tire. Just bring your scissors up just a pinch off the bottom of the tire when you're making that cut. It's easier to go in after the fact and trim more rubber off than it is to put more rubber back on. So, you know, if you're up a little bit too high on the tire and you have a little bit of excess lug, no big deal. It's easier to go back in after the fact and trim that little bit of excess off versus trying to glue a lug back on. And that's basically it, guys. And here is our end product. We have our longer lug and the one in front of it. Same on both sides. Longer lug is the only row that we kept in place, leaving us this nice little chevron pattern, giving us this big gap in between the treads, which allows the tire to clean out. You can see that I didn't get completely flush on the tire. Get the camera to focus in here. We can see that there's just a little bit of rubber left over on the back edges of some of these lugs. And that is not a big deal. You don't want it completely flat. Like I said, you get it completely flat, you're running the risk of poking a hole in your tire. And that extra little bit of lug that's on there isn't going to hang up on anything. It's not going to load up with mud. It's not going to load up with snow. And if anything, it will offer a little bit of traction when you're backing out of something, because it still is giving you a little bit of bite on those lugs. So it's not a complete waste. So it's not a big deal to not be completely flat on the tire. You can leave a little bit of lug on there and the tire is still going to perform great after the fact. So after trimming out all these lugs, guys, it essentially has doubled up the flex on the tire. The tire has become extremely flexible, very supple, and very grippy. You can hear it actually when I took it out in the snow. You could hear the body chattering on the truck just from all, just from the traction that it was getting from the tire spinning. It was causing the body to chatter on the truck. So just letting me know that it was hooking up and it was getting traction. It definitely does a lot better with cleaning out. It's not loading up with snow as bad as it did before, and it seems to be working out better all the way around. It's not quite as good as having a tire without the foam in it for playing in the snow. But for having a foam inside the tire, it does pretty good as it is. Having that little bit of tread removed from between the rows there. And I'll actually include a video on the end of this with the Bronco out on the teeter-totter on the outdoor adventure course. The whole adventure course is covered in snow. Half the teeter-totter is exposed. Many of you may know, watching some of the summertime videos with the Bronco on the teeter-totter, it actually has a hard time on the teeter-totter. If the boards are wet on the teeter-totter, it's a no-go. And you guys are going to be surprised to see how well the Bronco did with these new tires on it. Alright, so that's going to do it, everyone. Enjoy the video that I attached on the end of it. And once again, if you go about trimming your tires or go about cutting a new tread pattern in your tires, be very careful about doing it. Make sure you don't cut a hole in the carcass. Make sure you don't cut your finger with the scissors. And once again, it is all your responsibility if you decide to take a pair of scissors to your own tires. Alright, so that's going to do it, guys. Enjoy the video that's attached to the end of this. And you all have a great night, and we'll see you on the next one. Between all the snow on the tires and the extreme angle on the teeter-totter here, guys, I don't think we're going to be able to climb up it. Little pile of snow there in front of that back tire is kind of holding us up. See, every time we get on it, she starts sliding back. Oh, I can't believe it. Even with these snow-covered tires, a wet teeter-totter, I can't believe that that thing is climbing up it. That is really blowing my mind right now. Alright, so obviously siping those tires or recutting the treads definitely made a difference. Definitely made a difference. Especially for climbing up this teeter-totter. There we are at the top. That's pretty impressive, really, in my eyes. This thing, if it's wet in the summertime, you can't climb it. So here we are in the middle of winter, and those tires are definitely not dry. And we managed to make it up. I think we'll finish on that note, eh, Mr. Piper? Yeah, definitely made a big difference on the tires. After cutting that new pattern in there, they are just super soft, super squishy, open air holes in them currently. After removing that row of knobbies in between there, it just made these tires, like, I want to say, at least 90% more flexible than what they were in their stock form. So definitely helped out big time. Happy with that. Alright guys, that's going to do it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you all on the next video.